What's good, world? This is Max Resitar from SLAMKicks. You're watching The Soul Connection. Today's the GOAT's birthday. 2-3. Happy 58. I would sing the happy birthday song for you, but to keep it a buck, Slim can't afford the rights to that song, so unfortunately you don't get the angelic voice. But what you do get is a breakdown of the Air Jordan 20, because this is a crazy ass sneaker. This is a sneaker that's packed with technology, is loaded with storytelling. It's the sneaker that saw the return of Spike Lee to the marketing campaign for the first time in mad long. Tinker Hatfield made his return to the brand as well for the first time in 4 sneakers because of this pair. And it's also the silhouette that saw Michael really open up and give us 20 years worth of stories that he really hadn't given us before. And because there's so many different things to talk about with this sneaker, we're going to start on the bottom. That's where you get the independent podular suspension. So this is a technological advancement that debuted with the Air Jordan 20. And it's made possible because of the Phylon in the midsole. Phylon is what you get when you put EVA, which is the common midsole material used across sneakers, back into the oven. And so Tinker took the Phylon, he put it in varying densities all throughout these pods. So what happens is when you step, the Phylon will expand, provide great cushioning, and then on the way back up, it'll contract, reform to its original shape to provide stability. So this technological advancement is the groundwork for the 20. There's also an internal shank inside the 20 for stability to keep you on the footbed. And then that leads up into this split toe rand. So this toe rand, the material on it varies from colorway to colorway. This one right here in the original launch colorway for the 20 is nubuck. And so the idea with this toe rand is, you know, when you hit someone with a crossover on the court, your toe will fold over and it'll hit either the hardwood or the concrete, and it can really wear out the medial side of your sneaker. So that was the idea here with the toe rand. What that does though is it leads up into the patent leather that covers the upper. Patent leather, Air Jordan 11, what's understood doesn't have to be explained. So this patent leather is iridescent on this colorway of the 20. When it catches the light, it shines super bright. And it also lends itself to the first storytelling moment on the 20. You'll have these 6 flex grooves on the toe box. The 6 flex grooves represent the 6 championships that MJ won in 91, 92, and 93, and then in 96, 97, and 98. And it really is the first storytelling moment on the 20. But all it does is lead up into this crazy real estate on the midfoot strap. It extends all the way from the medial side of the midfoot all the way over to the lateral side. And it's this real estate where Tinker gave Mike the spot to tell 20 years worth of stories with laser etched icons. So there are more than 200 icons all throughout the sneaker, and we'll get to all the other spots where they pop up. But on the midfoot strap on both sneakers, you have completely different icons. So the left and the right are not similar. On the left side, you can see the word George, and that's the name of the man who picked up Michael when he first landed in Chicago. He was a Bulls employee in 1984, and so he became one of his best friends. So you'll see his name on the left side. You'll see a Mars Blackman call out on the right side with the Brooklyn hat. You'll see a bunch of different silhouettes that mean a lot to Mike. You'll see the 11, you'll see the 5s and the 1s. On the right sneaker, you also see the Black Cat. Of course, that was one of Mike's nicknames. And this is the first time that Mike really opened up to Tinker. And this is also the first time that Tinker used these laser etched details, which would then become synonymous with the Jordan brand in the years to follow. And because the 20 is all about storytelling, I linked up with the Michael Jordan of NBA photography, the one and the only Nat Butler. He's been shooting Mike for 30 plus years, and he had a bunch of different stories to tell us about the GOAT. Do you ever have any conversations with MJ about his mental approach to the game, or is that just something that you observed?
You know what? It was pretty much most of my time during his playing career was just fly on the wall stuff, you know, like just watching, not really too much dialogue, especially pregame. You know, he would get to know you. We were there so much, like with the NBA crews and stuff. You get the head nod, you're there. Like, but I was very sensitive about disrupting not just him, anyone's routine. You know, things were different then. There was like obviously not social media and stuff like that, but it was just literally fly on the wall, doing my job, get a couple of shots, lay back, and I love watching. You know, the pregame routine, the bus rides to the games or whatever, that kind of stuff was just fascinating to me. Dunk contest in Seattle was crazy. One of my favorite pictures of him from that is of his back, and he's just like floating, flying through the air, and I'm like, how is that real?
One of the icons that's on the Air Jordan 20 is this Air Jordan 1 cutout. And you have these incredible photos of MJ's last game at the Garden as a Bull when he wore the ones for the final time. Do you have any specific memories of that day, of that moment?
You know what, I do, because I got tipped off that he was wearing them. And I don't remember if it was in the locker room or Ahmad told me or something, and he came out and they just looked so cool, you know? So your eyes go right to them, and it was the whole package, the red uniform, those kicks. And so it was a very cool moment. And Michael always loved playing at the Garden. Like, he loved beating up on the Knicks. I grew up a Knicks fan, so there's a lot of pain there. But he knew the stage of what the Garden was. And like, there were always big games, you know, whether it was the NBC game of the week, afternoon game, whatever, playing the Knicks playoffs, whatever. It was always a big game. He knew the stage. He knew, like, and I think that, you know, got the energy going. The crowd loved MJ. But it wasn't until later that we heard the story behind the shoes. They were the wrong size. His feet were bleeding and stuff. And that was just crazy to me. I know, like, they dug him out of a closet somewhere and he's wearing like the wrong size shoes, you know, which is, when you think back on it, it's nuts.
Do you have a favorite Air Jordan silhouette to shoot on the court?
You know what, when I was shooting, I wasn't like known as like a sneakerhead. My eyes were just drawn to like the color schemes, and then I started paying attention. Like, the ones were just cool colors, you know, they matched the Bulls uniform. But then I really started paying attention because, like we said earlier, Michael was always so styled, you know, and I was like, wow, that just looks nice, you know. And then you go from that to being in the locker room and holding the shoe and what it feels like, you know. I thought the twos looked visually cool, the threes were cool, you know. And then you jump up, is it the 11s are off the chart, like that's a whole different level. The 13s with the dimples, like, were cool, you know. So I think, like, to their credit, the whole creative side of that was remarkable. Some of the ones on the Wizards when he had the blue flap was cool at the time. That was so ahead of the game at the time. You know, it looked cool.
Yeah. Those are the 18s.
Yeah. So many different looks and memories.
So lastly, this sneaker right here, the 20, this was a moment of Michael being more vulnerable than he really ever was. Just as a person, just telling all these different stories.
Right.
What should people know about MJ as a person? Forget basketball. What should people just know about MJ as a man?
You know, that's a great question, because he is, even back then, was such an icon that he was very private, you know, but he did so many things for people that everyone is not aware of, you know. And it wasn't like this, you see like the game face, a little nasty edge on the court. That's the on the court persona. And that's what you want to have as an athlete at the pinnacle and at the best of the best, you know. What people didn't see was the behind the scenes stuff, with how genuine he is, how caring for people, you know. I think in Last Dance, they alluded to a couple of things, how tight he was with his circle of the security guys, you know, and things like that. It was just a good guy laughing, playing cards, doing whatever. And, and just knowing how he took care of different people at different times in their life, someone going through something tough, the different, the different arena people. When you do it, you go into the arena, you see the elevator operator, you see the ticket guy, you see this guy, you see that. Before you get to the locker room, he sees 10 different people. It's all that sense of the family and things like that the average person doesn't know about. Just the way that they take care of those types of people is cool to me. It shows, that the humanity and what a good guy he really is.
Appreciate Nat coming through and chopping it up with us, but the stories don't end there, because the new buck that you saw in the toe rand, that then gets transferred over to the heel, which is another moment for storytelling. So again, just like in the midfoot straps, these two heel rands with the new buck are not similar. They each have different numbers that mean something to Mike, and they lead right up into another moment where the 6 rings gets a call out. So those metal strips lead up into the 20's most striking design feature, which is the floating ankle collar. And what Tinker was thinking with the floating ankle collar was he was trying to cut weight. So he was trying to have all the benefits of a mid-height sneaker, something that Mike loved as a player, but he was trying to do it while reducing leather and weight throughout the sneaker. The free floating ankle strap has memory foam for comfort. It also has customization abilities, so there is, underneath everything, another tab that you can put up to help with lockdown. Just keeps everything super secure. And there's one more call out with the Jordan brand italic font. The inner booty on the 20 is perforated just like the tongue. That's all one piece. And that's a basic breakdown of the 20. So you have the IPS down below with the internal shank between the outsole and the insole. You have the toe rand. You have this incredible midfoot strap. You have the nubuck heel counter leading up into the 6 ring call out, and then the free floating ankle strap. But back to the storytelling, because Spike Lee's famous commercial for the 20 included this big book of stories all about MJ. And the icons that you see on this sneaker were then transferred over to that commercial. And of course, Spike, you already know, he was Mars Blackman back in the day. He helped to launch the Jordan brand empire. Is it the shoes? Money has got to be the shoes. And when he did this commercial, he and Tinker worked together to make sure that all the icons that were seen on this sneaker were also seen in the commercial. So let's break down where the icons are found on the sneaker. On the IPS, there are different icons on both sides of the sneaker. So you won't see left and right. You won't see the same icons on either side. So the icons start here on the IPS, and then they trail up into that midfoot strap, where you'll get the incredible laser etched detail. Heel counter, the nubuck, all the different numbers, more icons, and the final storytelling call out is on the file line. And that's where you'll find 69 individualized dots as a tribute to Michael's career high that he had in Cleveland. What up, Craig Elo? It always happens to Craig Elo. With all the innovative technology, the iconic storytelling, both on the sneaker by Tinker Hatfield and in the marketing campaign by Spike Lee, the Air Jordan 20's place in history can't be questioned. MJ, happy 58th. Thank you for watching The Soul Connection. I'm Max Ristleton.